Hey guys, welcome back to West Texas Bushcraft. This would be the very first official request video. And the request was, what do you plan on packing out next time? Well, that's a good question. My pack changes like I change underwear. I'm telling you, it just really depends on where I'm going to go and how long I'm going to be there. But since fall is about to fall upon us, it was time to start thinking about what I'm going to do during the fall and in the winter, because our falls are very short, as is our springs. So I decided to go ahead and start thinking over my winter pack. And here it is. My winter and fall pack. So, what do you say we take this thing off and have a look inside? Oh yeah. In this pack, right here, completely loaded, weighs about, I'd say about 20 pounds, maybe 25. So let's take it down. Okie dokie. Here's Los Bastardo. This is a handmade leather pack that I made because I buy all kinds of stuff and it's never exactly what I want. So I make a lot of my own stuff. I do buy all kinds of different things, but a lot of stuff I make myself simply because you don't always get what you pay for. So if I can do it myself, I'm cool. So let's have a look on the outside of the pack first and see what we have here. Cold Steel Frontier Tomahawk with a handmade sheath. That may get interchanged with a hatchet or the Carnivore, depending on where I plan on going. A lot of this stuff is just really contingent upon that. Next on this thing is the Energizer crank flashlight that you saw the turbo review on. It doesn't make a whole lot of light, but it's enough to see at night in the campsite. 7 lumens raw power. On this end is an S-Beaner with my cheapo compass with built-in thermometer. It's better than nothing. The main reason I carry it is simply because of the thermometer. I like to keep an eye on what our temperature is. For whatever reason, it's just the way I like to do stuff. Here is a continuous loop I have made from Amsteel with the lock Brummel here and the ends buried out. This thing will pretty much tow a car. And what I use this for is all different kinds of things. I may actually use this as a makeshift baldric to put my water bottle on, or a neck knife or whatever. But the main purpose I use it for at night is on this ring here. I'll just larg's head this thing through there like so, and then hang my pack from a tree. Keeps my pack out of the dirt, because if it rains at night I don't want mud crusting up all over everything, and to keep critters out of my stuff. On the side, right there, is my cook kit slash multi-purpose first aid kit slash spice kit. You probably saw that recently in the video that I made on the multi-purpose spice kit. I'm not going to go through its contents because I already have a video on that, but you will see here that that's what we got. I did make a change and put in a nice bright orange bandana for security purposes, so that way if I become lost, that will help me flag something down. Pretty much anytime you go into survival mode And if you're carrying stuff in your pack, make sure you put some things in there like that that's bright neon orange, because that particular color does not occur naturally in nature regularly. Usually you can see some orange during the spring when some flowers flower out, but for the most part throughout the year, no. So that's always something good to spot. Here, let's open the top. Let's go through this front pocket first. The front pocket contains just a lot of my everyday, day-to-day stuff. I normally have a little bit more in here than this, but I normally carry food. This is some homemade dried chili fixins, because I like chili, I like good spicy stuff. So some homemade stuff that I made. If you'd like to see video on that, let me know and I'll show you how to make some good camp food that you can take out and just heat water for. So there's that. Normally also in here I would keep a couple of little small packages of peanuts, maybe a granola bar or something like that for quick snacks, quick energy, and good sustainment. In here, it's a nice outdoors products dry bag. And in here, I keep coffee. That was instant coffee, by the way. A bunch of different tea bags. My buddy and I, we drink tea like it's going out of style at night. Bunch of Advil and some of my normal medication that I keep handy. Mosquito repellent, because lately the West Nile viruses have just been running rampant around here, killing people like crazy, and that's doing the same thing all over the country. So get 100% DEET insect repellent and keep it with you all the time when you go out, especially if you're in the U.S. Right now that West Nile is just really nasty, so don't want anybody to get sick. My travel toothbrush has disappeared, so I'm going to have to either go buy another one or whatnot, but I keep some travel toothpaste and a travel fold-up toothbrush, and of course my spoon. This is a aircraft aluminum alloy hard anodized spoon. Plain and simple. I can dig with it, I eat with it. It would fit in here, but it's a little bit long. I may cut the handle down so it will fit one day. Next, budget. $4 Walmart trowel. I believe this is outdoor products. This little sheath for it's horrible. I'll probably make a new one, but that's great for digging constitutional holes, digging up whatever you need to dig up. There you go. It's also good for transferring coals if you're going to be doing some cooking or whatever, working your fire. That is good for that. Next, we have, I like to call this my DC saw, because this was an idea. This is not my idea, but that idea I picked up from Dave Canterbury on his Wilderness Outfitters channel. Indispensable. I mean, that's just fantastic. So I keep that all the time. That is great for cutting down wood. Most of the time I'll use my knife or my tomahawk, axe, carnivore, or whatever to go cut wood, but sometimes it's just easier to use a saw. So with this, if I ever needed to, I can make a makeshift knife out of this. Plus I also have some good vice grips for any other task that's going to require some heavy duty hardcore grip. It doesn't weigh much, so I don't mind keeping it in there. That's been an indispensable item. Next is my little pouch that is full of various cordages. This is a reflective cordage. I use this for my tie outs on my tarp. Plus I have a variety of different kinds of steaks in here. I have the ground hogs for if the ground's real soft. That'll do all kinds of nice little grip in there. And for the most part around here it's so dry, these little titanium spikes work perfect for everything I need to do. And that's pretty much what's in here. Some reflective cordage and 2 different kinds of stakes. Last in here is my DIY alcohol penny stove and alcohol for it. Normally I have 2 of these here, but one of them is empty, so but that you get the idea. I keep that in there. You never know about West Texas. We stay under a burn ban most of the time, so I keep an alcohol stove plus, and in this little homemade pouch out of remnants of a wool blanket, I have my ultralight titanium Emberlit wood stove. Now when you put this thing together, you can burn wood in here to cook your food, or it makes a great windscreen for my alcohol stove down inside there, so I can either burn wood in this or use it as a windscreen for this. So it's kind of multi-purpose in itself. I do plan on putting this thing together one day and getting you a video on it. I mean, there's several different reviews on the Emberlit. Man, I highly recommend these things. I am pretty much about budget all the time, and I will get whatever I can as cheap as I can, but sometimes it's just worth spending the money on. I mean, this is all titanium. This doesn't weigh anything. It folds flat, takes up 0 room in my pack, and that makes me happy. Now this is pretty well bare bones, bare essentials. When I first started out with this, I had a huge tactical style pack that weighed about 80 pounds, and I put all this garbage in there. But as time went on, that stuff's just completely unnecessary. Multi-purpose is key. So let's go in the contents of this top section here. This thing is full to the brim. The first thing I want to show you is very budget oriented, and it gives you a good idea of what to look out for sometimes. Of course, around Texas here, it is so dry all the time, we have to pack in our water all the time. In the summertime, it's recommended for a minimum of 1 gallon on you at all times. So that you know right away that is going to add 8 pounds to your pack. Plain and simple. But since it's winter time, I usually do no more than 64 ounces and maybe something smaller too. So I always make sure I have a steel or a stainless steel water bottle. Any other methods you want to carry the rest of it, just make sure one of your bottles is stainless steel. Because if you get down to the point where if you wind up in a survival situation, you can make char cloth out of this. You can boil your water in here to purify it. Containers are probably about the most important thing you can have. So make sure you pack at least 1 stainless water bottle. And you can find these at the dollar store for $1. This one I got at Walmart. This one was actually on clearance. This is a Stanley, and I got this for like $1.99. Here's another one I have that I have wrapped in paracord, so I got some extra cordage on me. The bad thing about this is really with it wrapped, I mean, this, you can't just remove it. I'll have to untie this whole thing. So that's going to kind of slow me down on having to boil water if I need to. But I like to have this with me because this will also insulate it just a little bit. But that's my own personal preference. The second thing I found, yesterday when my wife went to the grocery store, my boy come back drinking a Capri Sun in this little pouch. Man, I have been looking at some of those platypus collapsible canteens, well, that's pretty much what this is. I mean, my kiddo got a nice drink out of it, and we got several of these in the fridge. I'm just waiting for him to drink those, so I was glad to see that. It's, you know, Mylar, so it's good and tough. I can fill 3 or 4 of these with water and then have 1 or 2 of these in my pack. And when I'm done with it, these will completely collapse down. They weigh absolutely nothing, and I can just stuff it back in the pack and just forget about it. So even then, if I do wind up having to go, if I run out of water and have to go purify some, I got another container to put this stuff in, and you don't even have to pack it full. I mean, if you've been here, like if you've been in Texas, you know that water is hard to come by. So pretty much, if you're packing a container, it's got water in it. So what are these? 99 cents, 75 cents, something like that. That's an indispensable item as far as I'm concerned. That's brand new to my pack. Okay, next, a buff. Makes a good head wrap. If it's cold at night, I can put it on around my neck as a scarf to keep the drafts out of my shirt. Sweat rag, same purpose as a bandana, except it's tubular, so it makes it a little easier for scarf wear to keep your neck warm. Teepee for the bunghole. You must have teepee, or you can use leaves, whatever. But you know, around here, leaves are this big and super narrow, so yeah, you'll get poo on your fingers. So I recommend a little teepee. Besides all that, it makes good tinder if you need it. Warbonnet Blackbird hammock, my preferred hammock of choice. You've seen the video on that bad boy. Big tarp, the Superfly, my DIY Superfly. There'll be a video coming up on this. I need to waterproof it. We haven't had rain pretty much all summer, but I know one of these days I'm going to get out there and I'm going to get rained on. I've been lucky all this time that I've been out doing this kind of stuff. I've never been rained on. It just doesn't rain here. But it'll happen one day, so there will be a video coming up soon to go through and waterproof that. Also in the main compartment, Reflectix. Basically, it's Mylar bubble wrap used for insulation on your house. This is a little square I had left. I went around the edges of it with some electrical tape. It's about yay big. If it's cold, I can sit on this in the evenings and it keeps my butt warm. I can also, if I can't have fire for whatever reason, I can use this as sort of a solar oven, and I can heat up my water bottle on this by directing the sun's rays on it and make coffee or tea or whatever else with that. Plus at nighttime, I can take this and tuck this under cold spots, and it'll keep me pretty warm. A little noisy, but it's worth it. You don't want to get cold outside. That can really have detrimental effects on everything. A little small piece of painter's plastic. I don't like getting crap all inside my hammock, so I use this as a doormat, so to speak, to keep my boots on, and when I'm changing clothes to get into my nighttime gear in the hammock. So that's a nice thing to have as well. Sometimes I'll put a change of clothes in here. I may put an extra layer of clothing in this top pouch as well, simply because in the wintertime you want to layer up. So, I know you've all been wondering what the heck this is on the bottom. Well, this is going to be pretty amazing. I have this strapped on. This is all my hammock insulation. Made the bag out of good old, everyday, heavy-duty canvas. Because what is in here is expensive, and I don't want it ruined when I'm dragging it through mesquite trees that are full of thorns. So let's tear this bad boy open and I'll show you what is in here. This is like a magician's top hat. I have the flap here to cover it when I cinch it down to keep critters and bugs and dirt and stuff out. So what we have in here is a down, do-it-yourself top quilt on top. This top quilt is rated to about 30 degrees because it really just doesn't get all that cold around here, and I've actually slept in this thing in colder temperatures than that. Essentially, it is a sleeping bag with no zipper. What you do is you have this foot box, you put your feet in it like so, and then you cover up and lay down, so you can tuck this around you in the hammock and you don't get drafts. Super warm. Love it. My buddy made this. He didn't like it for whatever reason, so he sold it to me for a great price, and this was his very first DIY project on the good old thread injector, and he did a fantastic job. And down compresses so nicely. It fits in here, and that's all the space it took up right there. That's just a fantastic thing. Down is great. The one thing to remember about down, though, is you don't want to keep it compressed too long, which is why I also have these mesh laundry bags. Whenever I'm not using this stuff, I just toss these in these laundry bags and I hang those in my closet. They'll stay decompressed, they'll stay protected, and it's just a great thing. And the last thing that's in here is the underquilt for the hammock. Now, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I'm not sure who made this underquilt. I believe it was Warbonnet that made this, but I couldn't be positive on that. My buddy will have to tell me later. But this you hang underneath, and I have this marked with two different microbeaners because this goes on a certain way. I have the purple one to mark the head, so I hang this on the head side, hang this on the foot side, and then this I'll take over the top, hook it through the loop here, and then cinch it down with the cord lock there to keep this up over my feet. So I'm not really going to go through a full-on demonstration here because I don't have the hammock set up, but you can see this also has a down filling in it, but it's a synthetic down. This is rated about 40 degrees. This keeps me plenty warm, and with this I stay pretty toasty, and especially if I go in wearing thermal underwear or something like that. So that's pretty much what I pack out in the winter time. If you're also curious what else I take on me, I always have a wide brim hat. It keeps the melanoma away. Plus, depending on burn ban situation or whatever, I may even take a lantern. I love this lantern just because it's just really cool. This is a LED lantern, adjustable brightness. Doesn't weigh much, only takes batteries, and it just looks cool and it goes with the pack. But then again, I also have this little small pop-up Coleman lantern, also battery operated, and that works well for light at nighttime with a strobe. And then I also, on my person, carry a bandana. This is a homemade one out of the same stuff they make pillowcases out of. This is real heavy. I want to make sure it stays around for a while. It's good filtration and everything else. I have my folding SK Desert. This is my everyday carry anyway. I carry this one because a good folding knife is a great backup knife, and I love this one because it has the fire steel built into it. Plus, I have my belt knife, but since I made that new baldric, I have my railroad spike knife that I'll carry on the baldric, and my toolkit, which consists of the Gerber suspension, a fire steel, and the Redline by Nebo flashlight. This thing is a great spotter. That sucker right there is super bright. 220 lumens. It will spot, it will flood. It's also magnetic on this end here, so if you have a metal covering, you can put this up and it works great as a floodlight for the whole area. It actually works better than the lanterns. But in cold temperatures, it has a tendency to turn off. And of course, a good Mora neck knife for a third backup. You can never have a good enough amount of knives on you. And this next time I go out, I'll probably take the Hobo Cook Kit that Mr. Fermonoman sent me all the way from Ireland. So I promised him I'd try that thing out, and I'm going to do some video on that. That's it. That's my winter pack kit. And all the stuff I carry on me. It's great. I bet you're probably thinking there'd be a lot more in there than that. Well, have a look at this. That is everything that came out of the Los Bastardo pack. That's a bunch of stuff. A lot of stuff. But then again, it could be a lot more. Most of that is this stuff. This pack's down to nothing. Send those requests in. I need more stuff to do. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope it put a new wrinkle in your brain. Hope it gives you some ideas of some stuff for you to pack out. And remember, multi-purpose is key. Keep your pack light, and you don't have to take a whole bunch of stuff and make your trip a lot more fun without carrying a bunch of garbage. So, until then, you guys go out there, get dirty, have fun, be safe, and send some requests. Catch you later.